Let's jump into this journey of finding peace for our everyday, real lives. I was born on an election day. In that sense, I was born into a season of uncertainty. Who would be our president? What policies would he change? How would my family, the country, and even the world be shaped by the decisions the president made? These are questions I didn't know to ask the day I was born. But as I grew, I learned that these questions were important. I heard them spoken in one form or another, and I wondered about their answers. By the time I was 8, I had already lived through 2 election days, and I believed that who was elected president was extremely important. At 8, I was living in a time and in a place where my well-being seemed to hang on who was elected president. No one told me directly, your life, your well-being, Andrea, depends on who runs this country. But that's the message I received as people around me spoke about the election and those running. I believed this message. I know I believed it because of how I responded to it. I didn't experience peace in the election season leading up to my 8th birthday because my peace didn't seem as dependent on God. It seemed more dependent on who was in charge of the country. Now, if you listened to the video last week, you heard me say, I received salvation at 6 years of age, which means when I was 8, I already had reconciliation with God. I had peace with the Creator and the author of life, the all-powerful one. And yet my life lacked peace, practically. At 8, I wouldn't have said what I'm about to say, partly because I don't think I could have articulated what I'm about to say at 8 years of age. But I could, at 8, articulate my salvation experience. So probably more likely I wouldn't have said what I'm about to say because I didn't want what I'm about to say to be true. I believed that more than peace with God, as much as peace with God or close to peace with God, I needed a specific president to be elected to office. Is that true? In order to experience peace practically, do I need a specific president to be in office? That's quite a question, right? When I look at what people are posting on the socials today, and when I hear people talk about politics, I know there's many who believe that yes, there does need to be a specific president in office for them to experience peace. Maybe some, like me, don't want to admit that they believe this, but what they really believe is that more than, or as much as, or close to peace with God, they really need a specific president to be running the country. They'd say they believe God is the source of peace, the starting point, but in practice, with other things that they say, with what they share on the socials, and with how they spend their resources, including their mental energy, they show they really believe peace comes from something other than God. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying a leader has no bearing on the lives of those they lead, and I'm not suggesting we be indifferent about who runs a nation. I have said, and I will keep saying, that God is the starting point and the source of peace. We need this truth rooted deep in our hearts. We need it deep in our bones because we live in a world that screams otherwise. All the time, the temptation is laid before us to believe that we need something more than or in addition to peace with God in order to experience peace practically in our lives. So we need to know peace with God does have practical implications. Remembering our story that we were once dead in our sin, but we have now been reconciled to God. Remembering that we've experienced a fundamental shift in position and identity will give way to practical peace. This week, we're going to look at 2 related accounts in Jesus' life to help us to see that God really is the starting point of peace and thus the source of practical peace. We're going to lock in the truth about the source of peace because the truth is essential to peace lived practically. We're going to lock in this essential truth in the political environment of our day through the political environment of Jesus's